Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm servicing the rear end on a Mercedes, and I'm changing out the rear differential fluid, and I just wanted to show you what it actually looks like on the rear end of this particular vehicle. I have the drain bolts taken out, and I got this thing draining right now. It holds about 1.2 quarts of 75 weight 90 gear oil. So I have this thing draining. This particular Mercedes, there's not a lot of clearance between the exhaust and the drain bolts on either side. So taking a regular 14mm hex bit is going to be difficult to get a ratchet and a hex bit in between this exhaust and the rear end on this particular model.
Damn!
It's the same on the other side. It's not a lot of room between the field bolt and the rear exhaust on this particular Mercedes. So I've been under here working on this particular vehicle, and I got the drain bolts removed. So to get the drain bolts out, I had to modify a long handle 14mm hex key. I took a bandsaw, cut off the tip, and I took an angle grinder. I had to take an angle grinder with the flap wheel to smooth this thing down in order to fit, because the bolts on this thing is 14mm, and again, there's no room between the exhaust. There's no room between the exhaust and the drain bolts. So it's real tight up under here on this particular vehicle. I got it jacked up on these ramps. It's pretty tight up under here. But I just wanted to show you what I'm actually doing. This particular vehicle holds like 1.2, 1.5 quarts of oil. If you have a rear end vehicle, I mean a rear wheel drive vehicle, they all have rear differential fluid or gear oil that you need to change out. So it doesn't matter if it's a Mercedes or a Chevrolet or whatever you're driving. If it's a rear wheel vehicle, I'm not talking about an electric vehicle, but if it's a rear wheel drive vehicle, you got gear oil that needs to be changed out.
Damn! I'm sorry.
These drain bolts taken out, but it wasn't easy because it's just not a lot of space between the drain bolts and the exhaust. Now another way to get them things out is to use these short hex bit stubby. It's a low profile hex bit set that also works as well. You can use that with a braking bar. So that was my second option on getting the caps off the rear end off, but this long handle modified hex key did the trick, because now I got space between the drain and the muffler. Okay, so it's tight on both sides. It don't matter, it's real tight, so it's going to be hard to get a ratchet and a socket or a hex bit in between that exhaust. So I'm going back with some Valvoline. I got some 75 weight 90 gear oil. I got a pump on here. When you drain the rear end oil, you want to take off the field cap first, and then take off the drain bolt. So I'm gonna fill this back up. I'm gonna put back the caps. I got them cleaned up. There's the bolt, the drain bolt. I'm gonna put that back in. making sure I don't cross thread this thing. And on this one, I'm just gonna use the braking bar with the low profile hex bit to tighten this thing back up. But to get it off, I had to use the long handle arm hex key that I modified. And it's just really not a lot of room working on these things. So as you can see, there is absolutely just minimal clearance, just using a low profile and a braking bar. Put one more turn on it, and then I'm gonna fill it up with gear oil. And I'm just getting a feel of it. I'm not over tightening. I'm just getting a feel of it. Okay, that's nice and tight. And I actually bought this pump online. I'll include a link where I picked it up. And they make it for 1 quart jugs, or they make it for larger jugs as well. I'm just gonna pump this until oil runs back out of the field. You could even use this kind of pump when you're filling up, when you're doing a rear oil change on your motorcycle as well. So if you got a rear wheel drive, it doesn't matter if it's a pickup truck or Mercedes or whatever you're driving. If it's a rear wheel drive, gas powered or diesel vehicle, you have rear oil that you need to change every so often. So check your manufacturer's book, your service book, and it'll let you know how often you need to change your rear oil. And I'm gonna just keep pumping until I see oil start coming out. I'll probably put maybe a quart in there so far. If you want to keep your vehicles running for a long time, you have to service them. I'm just going to take this low profile stubby, try to tighten it down. The side on the fill side is a little bit tighter than the drain side. Okay, starting to get tight. Okay, that's nice and tight. So now that I have the drain cap put back on, I'm just gonna clean this up with some brake clean, get up some of this oil. This is a messy job, but in order to keep your vehicle lasting a long time, this is what has to be done. Oh yeah, that turned out really well. Like I say, just modifying a long handle hex key, shorten that. I used a bandsaw to cut this thing off. Took a bandsaw, just cut off the hex key, and then took an angle grinder to grind it down to where to fit a size 14. Mercedes got this exhaust right in the way, so they would have charged an arm and a leg. Yeah, Mercedes would have charged an arm and a leg to change this rear oil on a Mercedes.